How do you do, everyone? Although the clues to this story are this small child's doll, and also a card covered with pictures of shoes, the real meaning will lie in the doll's little mistress, Linda, and her mother and father and her sister, Carol. And although they fought through a tremendous family crisis together, these four, we're going to call our story to begin with, Parents of a Stranger. We first meet Linda on a sunny street in this placid Wisconsin town, whose quiet is shattered by noise and panic and discovery.
Enough to keep the kid out of the street? What's the matter with her? Is she stupid or something?
That's the second time this week. Something's wrong with that child.
I was just riding my tricycle.
Come on, Carol. There's something wrong with that child. That's what I heard her say. And it's not the first time I've heard them whispering.
There's nothing wrong with Linda.
Then why doesn't she mind me? Why isn't she even beginning to talk? Carol was already talking when she was Linda's age. I tell you, Paul, something is wrong.
Some children are slower developing than others. Dr. Anderson has told you himself many times.
I can't stand the waiting and worrying. Paul, I've got to know.
Well, what do you want to do?
She's so slow. The doctor told me just yesterday he thought it might be her hearing. I'm taking Linda to a specialist in Milwaukee. I made an appointment for tomorrow morning at 9.
Without consulting me?
I'm sorry. If you're too busy to drive us, we'll take the bus. But I must find out. If Linda is abnormal...
Don't talk that way.
If Linda is abnormal, we must find out now.
I never thought I'd see you panic.
All right. I have to live with this problem every day. You can walk out of here and go down to your insurance office and forget about it. But I have to face it. And I can't stand not knowing.
Can't we get along without these emotional displays?
Sorry.
All right, Joan. Better get to bed if we're going to be in Milwaukee by 9 o'clock.
Linda would seem to be in the profoundly deaf range.
Well, of course, there's some operation, Doctor.
Well, sometimes an operation will help. But in Linda's type of nerve deafness, I'm afraid at the present time, medical science knows no corrective operation. Oh, of course you have a problem, but there is help. I'll put you in touch with the Volta Bureau in Washington. And the John Tracy Clinic in Los Angeles can help Linda until she reaches school age. But I must impress on you the importance of opening up the world to Linda now. You see, children learn to speak by listening to sounds. And so the deaf child who cannot hear, unless he is especially taught, will not talk.
She will be able to talk.
Eventually. But lip reading comes first. You're with her most, Mrs. Wallace. You'll have to be her teacher.
I understand.
Thank you, Doctor.
So now, if you are Mrs. Wallace, you desperately reach out in a search for answers. Answers that will undoubtedly help you with this enormous problem you're facing.
Paul, look. It's a correspondence course from the John Tracy Clinic. Listen to this. In a surprisingly short time, once the difficult beginning is made, he can be taught to understand the names of many objects and actions by means of lip reading. He can be trained to habits of observation and attention, and his natural alertness will help him to substitute sight and touch for the faulty sense of hearing.
Well, I told you there was no reason to get panicky. I'm due at the office in 10 minutes.
Paul, stay home today. I can't start Linda's first lesson by myself.
Daddy, you didn't read to me from Alice in Wonderland last night.
I'm sorry, dear.
But you haven't read to me for weeks and weeks.
Don't exaggerate, Carol. I'm sorry, Joan. I've just got to go.
Mommy, can I help with Linda's lesson?
No, dear. Now, don't pout. I've got enough to worry about with Linda. Carol. Carol, did you do something to Linda?
No.
Oh, Carol. Most early education is based on imitation, and imitation consists of matching one thing to another. Many of the first exercises are in matching.
Now at least there is a goal. Merely to teach Linda to lip read, and you take the first steps. You begin to teach her to note similarities. Color to color, object to object, object to spoken word, you hope. You work with her every morning, every evening. Carol, of course, normal and happy, can look after herself. Occasionally, Paul finds time to help. Not very often. You know Linda is exceptionally bright, but something is wrong.
Shoe, Linda. Shoe. Shoe, Linda. Which one is your shoe? Carol, please. Now, darling, show me. Which one is your shoe? Shoe. All right, dear. Carol, take Linda into bed. I'll be in a moment. I want to enroll Linda in school.
What are you talking about? No school would take her. She's too young.
The John Tracy Clinic will.
All the way to California?
They have a 6 weeks preschool course for deaf children, and it's free. I want to take her there.
Now, will you be reasonable?
Paul, we've got to. I know the correspondence course is good, and I know that other people have been helped by it. But I wake up every night sick with worry. I'm so afraid I'm not doing it right. Don't you see? I've got to have professional help.
California. I can't get away.
You just have to. Paul, we can't worry about anything else. Linda is the important one now.
week later, you arrive in Los Angeles. You find an apartment. You find a playground for Carol, and you hurry with Linda to the Tracy Clinic.
Such a pretty dolly. I don't think you'll ever
Hello, we'd like to see Dr. Lowell, please.
Dr. Lowell's right here.
I'm Dr. Lowell, Mr. Wallace.
How do you do, Doctor? My wife.
Wallace, let me have you meet Mrs. Smith.
How do you do, Mrs. Wallace? Mr. Wallace.
How do you do?
And who's this?
This is Linda.
Hi, Linda.
I'd like to have you meet Mrs. Montague.
How do you do?
Wallace.
Now, the first room we'll visit will be one of our playrooms. Would you care to join me? Yes. You're looking through a one-way mirror into one of our playrooms. Your child won't be able to see you, but you'll be able to watch how he progresses. And here in the tutoring room, you will be taught by a trained teacher of the deaf to teach your child. And this is my shop. We'll all meet here once a day for a group counseling session. Actually, we'll relax for an hour and try to answer each other's questions.
Well, what did you think?
Maybe it's silly, but I feel relieved. The clinic, the staff, it's all so wonderful.
Yes, I feel the same way. You know, this is the first time in months that I feel relaxed. Someone else is helping us, at least for now.
I can't get over it. Did you see Linda? Why, she didn't even pay any attention to us. She headed right for the toys in that nursery school. That's the first time I've ever seen her do that.
She seemed right at home.
And all those other parents working with their children. Children just like Linda. And the staff. They actually talked to her. They paid attention to her.
Why, of course they did. That's why we came here.
Paul, I know this is right. I know it's going to work.
So now you begin the routine again, hopefully. Watching other parents, learning, seeing the other children, learning. And at last you can make plans for your life, that in weeks or at the most months, there won't be any problem for Linda. Moves through each lesson like a spectator watching a race and feeling that he runs each step. The weeks have gone, and Linda still dwells in her sea of silence. Other children are coming out. Linda isn't. And even Paul begins to rebel now against the pressure building up in him.
The whole thing's ridiculous. A complete waste of time. I'm not going anymore.
Paul, they expect us to attend every day.
I'm telling you, those group counseling sessions are a waste of time. We came out here to learn how to handle Linda, not to listen to a lot of people dredging up their past lives, complaining how they were abused when they were children. What does it all prove?
Paul, the clinic must have some reason for holding those sessions. Maybe we're missing the point.
It's a lot of emotional drivel. We've got a deaf child on our hands.
You find another shoe? Oh, wonderful, Linda. Oh, I have a shoe. Oh, that's a big shoe.
For the first time now, Linda begins to discover her way. And in this new happiness, you have no way of knowing that your family's life has yet to reach its point of crisis.
Carol, please, be a good girl and eat your breakfast. Carol, did you hear me? Now eat your breakfast.
I'm not hungry.
Carol, please don't be difficult.
I don't feel good. I have a stomach ache.
Now you're going to go to school today and no nonsense. Paul, speak to her.
Yes, dear. Carol, mind your mother.
I don't have to eat if I have a stomach ache.
Every morning it's the same thing. Anyone would think that you're the baby, not Linda. Now eat your breakfast. Carol, you hear me? Eat your breakfast.
It's all right, Carol. It's all right, baby. Yeah, it's good, Carol.
Showing what's happening to us. First Linda, now Carol.
I've tried. I've tried so hard. Paul, I can't take any more. I can't go on alone. So alone. Linda is such a terrible burden.
Joan, do you realize what we're calling her? Terrible burden.
Well, isn't she? Isn't she deaf? Isn't she always going to be deaf? I tell you, I lie awake nights and I could scream with worry. And now on top of all this, Carol.
Joan, what's the matter with us? Everything we do seems wrong.
I've tried so hard.
I know, Joan. We both tried, but we failed.
What are we going to do?
I don't know. But I do know we've got to talk to somebody about it. We can't do this thing alone. That's why we're so worried, Mrs. Smith. Don't you see, it's no longer just Linda. It's Carol, too.
We can't seem to do anything right. We thought we'd better ask for help. It isn't easy to ask for help.
Where do we begin, Mrs. Smith?
You've already begun. Just by admitting that you need help.
What about our children? What about their problems? We're so worried ourselves that we can't help them.
You're still thinking about your children? Maybe we are. Maybe we are.
They need so much love, so much security. I don't know. Maybe we could give it to them.
Yes. If we take a good look at ourselves.
Maybe the less we become afraid, the more we feel sure of ourselves. Is that it?
I think you're both beginning to realize that the place to start is with yourselves.
It's easier somehow with the new knowledge of yourself. Your own problems have diminished. You find room for both your children's problems for the first time. You're relaxed, there's less tension, and although you now know that years of this lie ahead of you, you are a family together, facing a problem together, hoping to solve it together, no matter how long it may take. And this, it seems, is what it took to find a way for Linda.
Linda, pay attention to Daddy now. Pay attention. We're going to take the airplane. Take the airplane. Joan, she got it perfect. No guessing.
You both get an A. Time for bed.
Let's try one more word.
Bedtime. You too, Carol.
Okay, boss. Come on, you pirates. Off we go. Joan.
Mm-hmm?
I'm not pressing Linda too hard, am I?
She'll let you know if you do. She did me the other morning in no uncertain terms.
Yeah, I know what you mean. She certainly seems like a different kid than what she was when we first came out here.
We've still got a long road ahead.
Linda seems more secure. More relaxed. Me too.
Ouch. But you're right. I guess we're all more relaxed.
I'm still a little worried about Carol, though.
I know. The doorknob. We left off where Alice was at the tea party, and the doorknob fell asleep. Now watch my lips. Watch my lips. There was a table set out under a tree in front of the house, and the March Hare and the Hatter were having tea at it. A doorknob was sitting between.
How long has that been going on?
They're halfway through the book.
As a cushion
Linda can't possibly understand what Carol's reading.
and talking over
I don't think it matters. The important thing is they're sharing.
Only it's asleep. I suppose it doesn't matter.
Paul, she's never spoken. Not one word. Our little girl.
She will. I know she will.
We are going to have the announcement here, and after it, for our footnote, we are going to have a visitor that came to us right straight from the heart of her own story. When we first went to the Tracy Clinic looking for a story, we thought it would deal merely with a deaf child, but Mrs. Spencer Tracy, the founder of that clinic, could have told us from the start that it would also be Father's and Mother's and Carol's story. Is not that correct, Mrs. Tracy?
Yes. The story of any child at the clinic would be pretty much the story of his family. You see, no child exists in a vacuum. It's not only the deaf child, because deafness is only one part of the child. It's more than the whole child. It's the whole child in his total environment. As I hope you've seen from the picture, anything that affects the parents affects the child, and anything that affects the child affects the parents. It's the total situation. And now perhaps you'll be interested in knowing that this little girl here is the real Linda of the story. Aren't you, darling? Yes, I am Linda.
And she is Linda. And although she's just beginning, she has found the way. And now we're going to have a look at the clues for the story to come. The royal wedding was a newspaper sensation to the lovesick high school girls of the world, the Queen of England marrying a minor prince from a pint-sized kingdom in Europe. It seems, however, that this man was not pint-sized, and so we have called the story of their love, the love of Victoria and Albert, the concert. And until next week, this is John Nesbitt wishing a goodbye to you all.